You know that feeling, when you feel your absolute best cozied up at home, even when the whole world seems to be screaming, go out, do more. Well, we are going to completely reframe what it means to be a homebody. Lazy, antisocial, these are the labels we hear all the time, right? The kinds of judgments that can get thrown around. But what if the real reason has nothing to do with your character and everything to do with, well, your biology? That's the big question we're diving into today. Okay, first things first, let's just tackle this misconception head on. For way too long, there's been this kind of negative label stuck to people who genuinely prefer their own space, who find their energy and comfort in solitude. So, look at this. On the left, you've got the usual stereotypes: lazy, no ambition, unsocial. We've all heard them. But now look at the right. Science is giving us a totally different story, and frankly, a much more interesting one. We're talking sensory management, deep reflection, and, this is the big one, a trait of the nervous system itself. It's not about character, it's about biology. This one sentence pretty much changes the entire conversation. It pivots us away from judgment about behavior and points us straight toward neuroscience. So let's get into what a deeply processing nervous system actually is. All right, let's leave those social labels behind for a minute and really dig into the science. We want to understand the why behind loving your time at home. And this is absolutely crucial to understand. This is not some kind of personality flaw that you need to fix. It's a fundamental difference in how some of our brains are wired to handle all the information, the sounds, the sights, and even the emotions that the world throws at us. Which brings us right to the science of sensitivity. We're going to break down two key ideas here that really explain this whole experience from the inside out. Okay, first up is something called high sensory sensitivity. Now, this has nothing to do with being weak or overly emotional. It's a biological trait, plain and simple. It just means your nervous system is, well, it's working overtime. Imagine you're at a concert. You don't just hear the music, you feel the bass vibrating in your chest. You notice the tiny shifts in the stage lighting that nobody else seems to see. You're picking up on the energy of the entire crowd. That's kind of what it's like to experience the world with high sensory sensitivity. And, that leads perfectly into our second idea, activation resistance. See, if your brain is already processing so much, the very idea of going from your quiet home to, say, a loud party, that switch takes a massive amount of energy. It's not that you don't want to go. It's that your brain is naturally and smartly trying to conserve its resources. And yeah, that can be frustrating, especially when it feels like the energy cost to go out is just a little too high. So let's make this super concrete. What does it actually feel like to have a deeply processing nervous system? Well, you might find that bright lights and loud noises get to you more than other people. You might process emotions, your own and even other people's, way more intensely. You're probably the one who walks into a room and notices all the little details everyone else just walks past. And because of all that, yeah, you can be more prone to feeling overstimulated and just overwhelmed. So, if that's the science, what's the role of your home in all this? Well, it's not a cage to hide in. It's a sanctuary. It's your personal home base. It really comes down to what we can call the sensory management cycle. It's a simple but really powerful loop. So, number one, you go out, you experience the world, and that can easily lead to overstimulation. Number two, your deeply processing nervous system kicks into high gear, getting close to a total sensory overload. And then, number three, you retreat to your home, a place you can control, not to hide, but to actively recover, to recharge, and to reflect. And that right there is the absolute key. Your home becomes an essential tool. It's like a charging station for a high-performance nervous system. It's the one place where you can turn down the volume of the world, process everything you've taken in, and just get back to your center. It's a strategy for well-being. So when you start to see it this way, being a homebody isn't a limitation at all. It's just a different, maybe more deliberate way of engaging with the world. It's all about quality over quantity, depth over breadth. I just love this quote. It captures the idea perfectly. That quiet, reflective space that your home offers, that can be the very place where your deepest thoughts, your biggest ideas, and your richest inner experiences are actually born. I mean, some of my own best creative moments haven't happened in some busy office, but just sitting quietly at home. It's about finding that richness by going inward. So we'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. What if that preference for staying in, for having that quiet space to recharge and really think? What if that isn't a weakness you need to overcome, but it's actually your greatest strength? What if your sensitivity is your superpower?